Hello everyone, Don here with the next update on my 83 Mustang restoration project. Alright, this week, as you can see, I ended up pulling the doors off to give me a little more access to get in and start doing some welding inside. As you can see, I got the firewall in place with the cowling box. Got the driver's side apron completely installed. Everything here is all welded in. As you can see, all the spot welds along there. All the spot welds around here, all the way down through here. This has all been final welded in position around the windshield frame. I ended up welding it up around here because there were some welds that really come up through from underneath. Because I got sealant in there, I didn't want to get into all that. But there'll still be some welding up underneath. There's a couple places under here that still need to be finished weld. Some of it I can probably go right down through these holes. But I did pack in a bunch of some seam seal inside there to keep water from working its way down in there underneath to get into the cockpit area. So this side is all done. You can see I got it all welded all the way down through here around to the floor. I got my fenders in the way. I drug them out to get a measurement on the bumper. But as you can see, I got all that welded up in there. All them spot welds all the way around through into the frame rails, or those center two rows, down around, across the floor pan, and all the way up over the tunnel hump and both sides. So it's all done, essentially finished welded in on the inside. So today I welded all this together. The cowling, firewall and everything I fitted. Got that all fitted in. That's the frame rail, the new frame rail I've built. So the distance from here to the firewall is the same on both sides. That hole right there is for the bumper attach point on both sides. So those are equally square. As you can see, the car is set a little lower now. What I did is I leveled the car. I put a level across this beam here, which should be pretty much parallel to the body of the car, both sides. So I used that for my reference point, and because that apron was already welded to this cowl assembly, I checked against the bottom of it after I got the body leveled, and that was right on the money. So I figured that was good. So that piece there was put in there, leveled, and tacked in place. And this side, because it was all already pre-assembled, I put it in there, clamped it through the hole there, pinched it in there, put clamps across the bottom, and checked the level across the bottom of it, and got it nice and level, and then I just clamped everything up and welded it all in place. So that's where we're at. So I got quite a bit done this week. A little farther than I expected. So now, I was trying to finish this up tonight, or this afternoon actually. But I was getting down into this area here, finishing up these welds in here, and I was having a hell of a time. The welder just did not seem to want to cooperate. It was spitting and sputtering and popping. It was acting like it was ran out of argon, but I just bought a tank of argon. Every time I had a torch running, I could feel the gas coming out of it. But it just did not want to weld. It was spitting and sputtering like it had a lot of crud in the metal, and the metal's all ground clean, but it would not weld. So I wasn't able to finish welding this. But these are done, but they're pretty sloppy because I couldn't get the weld right. I still need to weld down this front edge, and then I still need to weld across here. This all has to be pushed up into place and welded, tied in. And then I got the last little piece there, that little apron is the counter to this one that goes in here. And once that's on, it's finished. And then the next piece is this. This is my new radiator core support, but it also requires these doublers. I had to remove these from the donor car. These ones were actually bent up because someone had put a jack under the middle of this frame and bent it. You can see they're fairly rusty yet. So what I got to do is get these either sandblasted down. I'll either throw them in a cabinet, or if I got a big enough tote, which I do have one somewhere, I'll just throw them in some acid and let them cook themselves clean in the acid, and then I'll probably touch them up with a blaster if I need to. But those have to go on in here. They fit all the way around this piece, come all the way down in here, and tie into this section right here, this box. So Those are not available aftermarket. You can only get this piece, so you have to reuse your old ones. The problem with the blue one is this stuff was all rotted out all the way across, so nothing on this blue car was salvageable. Okay, so what I had to do is measure from this center hole center to hole center here, which is almost exactly 35 inches. And then what I had to do is make sure it's 35 inches from the center of this to the center of this, and this is the same length from here to the firewall on both sides. So that'll keep me fairly square. So right now, from here to here, I've got it at 35 inches. So, but I think that those actually have to be put on first, welded onto here, one on each side, and then you can put this piece on and then finish welding it all in, up, around, through, all the way around the perimeter. And then these corners here come clear back across here and get welded on here. So that's where I'm at. Well, the problem I had with the welder was it didn't seem like it was getting any gas, so I pulled the torch apart, and it turns out this was getting plugged up. It looked like there was a seal in there, and when I dug it out it was a piece of rubber, but I couldn't push a piece of wire through it. I just cut this apart before I started filming. But this is kind of a flex head, LA9. As you can see, it's some kind of like copper wire wrapped around there to make it flexible, and he had some kind of heat shrink plastic on here, some high temps. Almost looks like a Teflon material, but this thing has gotten plenty hot over time, and you can see right here, see that little indent? That thing literally melted down inside there, and I think some of the rubber was getting in there, because what I was getting out of it was black rubber. So tomorrow I'm going to have to go to the local welder shop, pick me up a new torch head so I can finish welding. But I did manage, like I say, I did manage to get this all done. So this side is pretty much finished. I mean, it's solid. I'm surprised I had to drop this car so low to get this level. But this frame rail is level with that body on the below the door, which I figure is going to be 0. Seeing as how this one was measuring 0 degrees along with the frame rail 0 degrees, they had to be parallel as well. So they're the same height above the floor, and they're both parallel to the body. So hopefully that's good enough. I don't have the dimensions to do all the cross measurements and everything. All I'm going to do is make sure this is the right width for that core support to fit, and everything is pretty much parallel and square, and it looks that way. I'll do some diagonal measurements once I get the core support in place and make sure the core support is vertically. But essentially, you're kind of locked in. Where these holes is where the bumper has to pass through, the little shock, like a little shock absorbers. It goes in and it stops right here on this little tab. Goes in, and then your bolt comes through. I can find the hole there. Bolt comes through here and bolts it in place. And that's what I had kind of dug this out for. Those are those little fellas right there. And there is some play on how this can move. It can move a little side to side and up and down to get her to fit, but I did a rough measurement and it is basically 35 inches. So that's kind of where I'm at. After this is all finished, I'll come in here and finish seam sealing. Once this thing is put on my rotisserie, once I roll it over, there is a few more spots that need welded under here, but I just can't do it. I had a hell of enough time welding all that in there. With a TIG welder, I mean, it's a royal pain to do it. A MIG would have been so much greater, but I don't have one, and I really don't have a need for one. I didn't want to go buy one, so I used my TIG. I'm a better TIG welder than a MIG welder. But some of these are a royal pain in the ass to weld, especially when you're down this low. And the problem is your helmet is auto dimming helmet, and the helmet gets up above here, the area of the helmet that has to see the light. You get your head too high and it gets blocked, and the damn thing turns back open again, and then it blinds you from the weld. You got to get your head tucked under there, so it's a royal pain in the butt. But once I get this thing, get this front core support on, get the rotisserie on it, get the rear end and stuff out of it, and then I can roll it over, and then I can come under here. There is still a couple more welds on this side that I need to do, which is up along here, but it's too hard to try and weld all this down here. So once I get the car, I can roll the car right up on its side and come straight down on top of it. But And then once that's done, get her on the rotisserie. Then it's just a matter of cleaning everything up. But hopefully this is the major work that needs to be done on this car. The rest of the car, as far as I can tell from being under it, looking at all over the back end and underneath, is super clean because it's all been coated in undercoating. And there's still, all this here is undercoating. So my intentions are to remove all that crap, clean all this off. When it comes to painting, I'm going to use, I'll get some Scotch-Brite and some kind of solvent solution and scrub the whole thing with a real coarse Scotch-Brite pad to knock off any crud. But what's going to take time to clean off is all that old undercoating. And some of it actually, because it's old, it's brittle and it's chipping off. I've seen people use dry ice, where they'll literally put dry ice on top of it. Like inside it had all the sound deadening material. All that popped out fairly easy, scraped out. But you can put dry ice, once this is rolled over, throw some dry ice on there and super freeze that undercoating. You just smack it lightly with a hammer and it just shatters like glass and falls right off. But as I've been working on it, some of it's already popping and peeling off on its own. So otherwise, you can be sitting here with either some kind of diesel fuel, kerosene, and just dissolving it and scraping it off. Again, there's some rusty issues in here, but nothing's rusted through. But there's enough rust in there to concern me that I got to try and clean it out really well. And then there is a couple smaller holes on the other side that have to be dealt with. So that's kind of where I'm at. I took the doors off so I could actually get in here and weld. Give me access to welding with the doors hanging up. I did find some cracks over there in that frame where the seat, let me just use the zoom on this. I found some more cracking around that spot there, so I had to weld that up. Doesn't want to focus that far away, but either way, I welded that up. That's been all repaired back there. The only thing left is that little hole back in that corner. Right back there, there's a small hole, and there's another little small one up here. Somewhere up in here there's a small hole, but the other hole is clear back here in this corner. So then it's just a matter of cleaning everything up, get the rest of this trim off. Back this all the way up. Yeah, get the rest of this trim off because none of this will be reused. This would be reused if you cut it. You could use this, but because I'm going to T-tops, this will all be gone. There is some, I do have the original trims for the T-top car to replace. I'll clean them up, strip them. All this is going to be pulled apart. Whichever is better, this one or the other car. They'll be stripped and painted black. This will all be stripped and repainted black. This is all black trim. These will stay blue, and then the only other hole I found so far is right here. And this is right at the rough seam to the rear quarter seam, and there's generally lead in here from the factory. They used to lead all this stuff. So it's kind of right there at the bottom of that seam. So I can't see up in there. There's some of the body, the interior trim work still in a way that I can't see how bad that is. I just managed to find that and poked at it and knocked that little hole in it. But as far as the rest of the back end, everything looks really good. I won't be using this hatch. I'll be using the hatch off the GT. And they both have rear window defrost, so that's nice. They both have that. You can see the lines in it, so either glass will be usable. I'll pull these trims off, save them. The hatch I'll save. I've got both rear covers. I got both nose covers, both doors. Again, these doors are just going to get chopped here and top of the here. So both of them be converted to T-tops. Glass will be changed, and then there's some extra stiffeners that go in there, the full length of the door across the top. There's a steel piece that's got to be welded in both doors, and then there's a couple vertical pieces that get bolted in. So all those got to be converted. I have them all removed off of the donor car. The tail lights will be, everything will be popped out of it. And then I've got two sets of tail lights and all that, so I'll find the better of the two and clean them up and reuse them. So the next goal is, as soon as this nose front end's back together, we'll get that front rotisserie put on, jack the back of the car up, yank out the rear suspension, take the rest of the garbage out of the back of the car, take the seat out and the quarter panels, and get the back end mounted on the rotisserie. So yeah, I was hoping to kind of get this finished up today, but that torch was giving me such a pain in the ass. I couldn't figure out what it was doing. I just bought the tank of gas Friday for it so I could finish. I ran out Thursday night welding on the interior of this stuff. So the inside of this is still fairly clean. It's not bad. I still want to try and find some kind of stuff. I did find a lot of the stuff I found for treating rusty metal. It all is that opaque white stuff that's you just kind of brush it on. It's not paint, the stuff I'm looking for. And it's pretty clean in there now. Most of it's just kind of a surface rust. It's nothing scaly anymore. But I did go in and scrape out the rest of that material that was in here. I think once I get this either cleaned and treated, I'm going to use bed liner. I'm going to use like some of that Rhino type bed liner. I'll brush that all in there, roll it or brush it or something. And I figured that'd be a good cleanup. Because I think some of that might have been also a sound deadening, because your windshield wiper motor's here and they kind of go rah, 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 rah. And I'm thinking that might help with said sound deadening to put a little bit of that Rhino liner of bed liner material in there. Would be a good thing to keep it, because that's constantly bombarded with weather, rain. Not that this car is going to see much weather after it's put on the road, at least not by me. Maybe the next person to get it after I pass on to the never world or whatever. So I think that's going to do it for this week's update. Tomorrow I'll have to go get me a new torch. There's the actual rest of it. I was going to check and see. I had to replace this hose, but this is the other piece of the handle I got to slip off. But the plug's in here. I pulled it off, and after I pulled the head off, blew through it, and it was fine. It's nice and clean. But this is a new hose I just put on, I think last year, because that was giving me the problem before. It wasn't getting enough gas to the head, and it was doing the exact same thing, spitting and sputtering. But now, this time, it's the actual torch head. This is my second torch head since I've had this machine. I've had this machine for almost 30 years now. I bought it, I think, around 1987, 1988. So I've had it a long time. So I got to clean that panel up. I did clean it with acid, got some of it clean, but the heaviest rust I really didn't concentrate on. That panel's small enough I can put in the blast cabinet, get that cleaned up. So as soon as I can finish spot welding in the bottom of that thing, then I got to spot weld across here, this panel into my new panel. That's already done there. I got to do the back side, and then that panel will be ready to put in, and then I still have to make the panel that will go in there, and then the front end can come together. So hopefully by next weekend you'll see this course poured in and ready to go on a rotisserie. So alright, that's going to do it for this week's update. Doesn't seem like I got much done, but I can't remember if I even had that firewall in last weekend when I did the video. I don't think I did. So I've got a lot done. I mean, it's all welded in. It's not coming out of there. So it went quicker than I expected, but it was still a real pain in the butt in places to weld it. So, all right, folks, as always, appreciate everyone taking their time to watch my videos. As always, feel free to leave any comments, questions, or concerns, and I'll answer them as they come through. So for now, I'll call this video done, and we'll catch you guys next week. All right, thanks for watching, everybody.